keep me down, I'm going. And if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up. I bet when I land, they gonna tell me.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And we are back today for another recap of PowerBook 2 Ghost. This is season 4, episode 8, and it was titled Higher Calling. But before we jump into our conversation, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click that thumbs up button. We have been loving all the support you guys have been giving us, and we have a lot of special treats on the way for you guys, as you can see with some of the drops. You know, we've been talking with the Power cast, and you're not going to miss out. You're not going to want to miss out on what we have coming. So please make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the episode. So we have the aftermath of what's going on, this feud brewing between all parties, really. I mean, everybody kind of beefing with each other for real. But we were kind of wondering how Detective Carter was going to make that death look like an accident. And it's like, okay, Felicia got her head banged in. How is he going to make that look like an accident? And it turns out they somehow staged it to look like a car accident. I wanted to know y'all thoughts on that one, because that was the first opening scene.
I'm like, okay, I know y'all can pull things off, but this woman had her head bashed in with a frying pan, and you're telling me you make it look like a car accident, you know, and kind of, and Nico had it right, because Nico was like, a car accident,
right?
Because how do you fix that?
You know,
I'm like, I didn't even bother to go beyond that. I'm like, okay, it is what it is. This is what they want to call it.
Well, listen, I mean, it is not like you can't suffer blunt trauma to the head and stuff. Like, I mean, that in a car accident, especially if he fixed it, the car turned over or whatever and stuff. So I mean,
except that the impression that a frying pan would make on the skull is kind of different than a car turning over and your head going in different ways. The impression on the skull, on the fracture.
Don't know if the car, how condition the car was in.
No.
Like,
yeah, I was gonna say maybe
that's how forensics.
Like a frying pan,
but that's how forensics.
windshield.
But that's how forensics know what, you know, how or what was used, what type of blunt object and what type of dimension or size the blunt object has. A car accident would present a different type of
like the impression on her head,
right? The fracture.
Yeah,
but we'll see in the next 2 episodes whether that comes up.
Right, because
I doubt
I'm
it
thinking
will.
that Carter probably has some other contacts that are dirty too that he got to persuade them to go.
It could be some.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could be somebody in the medical examiner's office saying,
well,
you know, say this, put this on.
And that is my other point. Unless he has somebody in, you know, that can verify his ridiculous claim, then I could see it that way. But you know, unless you have,
he seems to have a lot of dirty people on lock. It's a lot of a lot of dirty people in his orbit.
But you know, I thought Nico snatching him up and saying a car accident. I thought Nico would, you know, we all said last week that Nico is on it. He's on Carter. I don't know what to think this week. He's giving me 2 impressions, so I don't know what to think this week.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Nico some more, but I wanted to get into this feud that is brewing with Monet and Tariq. They're trying to get Carter off their neck, and so basically they're trying to figure out ways to get, you know, Noma and Carter to beef with each other. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll tell Noma what he has in plan, in store for her. And they went and talked to her and Kane, and it seems like she was kind of blowing them off, like, I'm not interested in a war with NYPD. And I was like kind of shocked, because I'm thinking she would take interest in the fact that she has them on her case. And it wasn't until subsequent meetings that she started taking them serious.
Well, I don't think she had any reason to trust Monet and Tariq. That's what I think it was. True. I think at face value, because she was like, what proof do you have that he's on to me? She asked them twice. Neither one of them provided the proof. They kept saying, well, no, we just got to take him on the board. We can't get into the detail. Like, no, that's how it been too. Like, okay, you guys show me. You can't just do
this. They sound like politicians with this, that spin move, and that's all it was. It's like, and she was correct into thinking what she thought, but then Kane doesn't like them anyway, so it's not like he would have gone with.
Tariq, he don't like Tariq.
Right. I'm not sure if he likes Monet much, but
I think he's still trying to protect her though. That's still his mom.
I don't know.
That's why he ain't snitching. He ain't told Noma that she the one that rated this, that she's the CI. Like he knows he's saying this stuff to her, but he ain't saying it to Noma. So he's still protecting her. He still loves his mom.
But the one critical thing he said to her before Monet left was something about your short life.
Yeah, he did say something like that.
He did that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, what do you have?
Is this foreshadowing?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Well, he's warning her though. Like if you go up against Noma, like he was like, what are you thinking? Like you're being a CI for a dirty cop, and you're going up against Noma, you robbing her warehouse. That's going to lead to a short life.
That's true. Yeah, and I mean it's facts. It's not nothing that he was threatening her with. It's like that's the reality of the situation. So I mean I get that, but I was thinking about like just the bickering with Monet and Kane, because of course Monet found out about this engagement to Noma and she is pissed to say the least. I mean, she's thinking that Noma is using Kane, which she is. And she's saying like, are you stupid? Like she's going to use you up and toss you to the side like she does everybody else. But Kane and even Drew mentioned that, like, you really think she's not going to try to like just toss you to the side once you're done? You really think that you can outsmart her? Kane in his head thinks he has a plan though.
I think he does. I think that he ain't telling nobody else, and he knows that everybody thinks that he's stupid and everything. So he's just not letting anybody in on his plan. I think the plan is to ultimately take her out and take over her business. And then I think he sees it as a way to protect his family and also protect Effie. So he ain't letting nobody in on the plan.
Right.
While interestingly enough, she gets Davis to draw up a prenup that protects her business. So this is going to be interesting how Kane kind of maneuvers around this. I believe still that that's his ultimate goal, to take her business. But now with this, she having Davis draw up these prenups,
legal documents and all that. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to find out.
But is he going to get a chance to execute those? You still got to file them, because I think when he met with Tariq and Monet and said my allegiance is to you and stuff, I think Davis is going to die because I think because he gave up the fact that he was she was trying to bribe Sterling Williams.
Yep.
They only could have got that information from him.
Right.
So Noma, and Noma might, and as much as Kane is jealous and don't like Davis, he might be the one to do it. And it would be advantageous to him because once he gets rid of him, especially to do it before he can file the paperwork, there is no prenup.
That's a fact.
Well, the question also then, and I agree, but the question would be whether she would want yet another lawyer to do it. I mean, it would be in her best interest to have.
Well, she would think. I'm saying she would think like that Kane does it.
Oh, you're saying that she would believe that the paperwork was already filed.
Yes, because he said he was going to do it. But if Kane intercepts and takes Davis out before it's filed, then there is no prenup.
Right. And so I that's a good point you bring up, because I was wondering about that too. I'm like, well, how you gonna get the business if it's protected?
And besides that, you can't serve two masters. I'm not understanding what Davis has put himself in. You're trying to serve Noma and Monique at the same time.
That's greedy. That's greed, and greed will get you every time.
Every single time.
And Davis has always put himself in those type of predicaments.
Yeah.
So it's nothing new with his character. And it was just funny to me how Noma was really like rubbing it in that she and Kane were getting married to Effie and to Davis.
Oh, and Davis was big mad, wasn't he?
He was real mad.
Yeah.
All fucked up. And I was like, I know your feelings ain't involved. I said, I think he just was really, he thought he was gonna be on top and be a part of this empire and stuff. He was being greedy. So he was big mad. And Effie, I felt bad for Effie.
Me too.
Because what's her face was rubbing it in. She was just like, yeah, he did well, didn't he?
Right, it's so heavy.
It's so heavy. You know what? I like, as you know, I like Effie. I like her a lot. She showed something to me though that I think I love even more about her, in the sense that while being, and we know she was visibly upset with this marriage thing, but she still went ahead with the plan to create a social media profile for Kane. David tickled me.
He said it better be community college.
That's why I said Kane gonna be the one. Kane, it may be Noma, but Kane gonna be the one to take.
I couldn't get it out. I had to cough. It just made me cough. I mean, he said make sure it's community college.
Yeah, they had a lot of funny jabs back and forth.
Yeah, they did. I was like, oh, the hate is real between those two. The hate is real. But yeah, she showed a lot of resolve, like maintaining under pressure and stuff. And with and Noma, the way she was rubbing it in her face. And I like the way she curved Kane too. When he tried to come back to her place and stuff and talk, she didn't even let that mama in. She was like, like, no, got it, taking care of business. And, she had no choice. She's on the table.
He didn't play to her face too many times.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at her. But she did eventually give in at the end. It seemed like they had come to some terms that, okay, you got my back now. Like, this is what I need from you. And Kane said, I got you no matter what.
And I think that was explained as we were able to find a little backstory about Effie.
Finally.
We finally, kind of find out some things. And it now makes sense because she's always felt to be a loner and not really loved. So I now understand why she puts up with Kane the way she does.
Yeah.
Because any other person, once Noma and Kane are supposedly fiancés, they would have walked away from Kane and said, you kick rocks. But, she still accepts him. So I think she buys the fact that it's business. It's a business relationship. But she does have feelings for Kane. And
and he for her. He does.
Yes, he does. Yeah.
He's doing a lot of stuff for Effie. Like when he tried to come to the jail, with the suit on and stuff, last season or whatever, when he did that, he went to Noma and said, look, we trying to get Effie out of the game. So he did speak on our behalf. And I think part of this, what he's doing with Noma, I think he's trying to ensure Effie's safety too.
Yeah, and last week he played cop. He loved cops.
He did all of that. He said, if any, I love the line he said last week when he said, if there's ever a time for you to get in that computer and bleep bloop. I'm like, yeah. So he really does care for her, and he said, I got your back, and I think that was the closest way for him to say I love you. Like, I really feel for you. He ain't gonna say it, but he was like, I got you.
And that sold Effie, because I can tell you what will take Noma out in a heartbeat if she goes after Effie. And I think Kane will take her out.
I think he would if he goes after Effie and his mom.
Yeah. That's right too.
Tariq don't care, but I think if he had to, because I think he still believes in family first. I think he does. I think he still does in the back of his head, and I think he always Lorenzo had even told him in one of the seasons to look out for the family. Like he told him that and stuff. So I think that he feels, it's his duty to look out for them. He is the oldest.
Right.
Yeah, but this conundrum between Kanan and Noma and Drew and Kane, I mean Carter.
It's a family feud going on.
It's a huge
because they're all
feud.
Battling for their own independence, and I think it really resonated when Drew was talking, because he was like, I think Monet was trying to reason with him, like, why are you doing this? Why are you betraying the family? And he's like, I just saved the family. Like, what are you talking about? He's looking for recognition for all that he's done. Monet doesn't always give him the recognition and acknowledge his contributions. And also, he was talking about, leadership and how he's being trusted to make decisions. And I think that that's more important to him right now than what Monet talking about. And she doesn't really see it. She's really focusing and hinging on the fact that we're blood, we're family. She keep bringing up, that's my blood running through your body.
Exactly.
And he's like, that don't matter. Look at all you've done. I wouldn't have to turn to Carter as a father figure if you had killed my father.
Exactly. I was going to say that. Well, it's interesting. All the things you say is going to be relevant when the viewers get to see our next interview, because it's going to touch on a lot of stuff we just talked about.
It does, but it also kind of contradicts some of the things that we find out in episode 408. I'm not going any farther, but when you watch the episode, I'm now confused. Not so much confused, but it's now going to be very interesting on the last episode as to what happens, because in our last interview, we spoke to an individual of the show that gave us a little different feeling about what might happen in the final episode. So that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, well, I wasn't present for the interview, unfortunately, but I do think that ultimately Kane and Drew are going to come back together. I feel that because they're playing tit for tat this episode. Drew goes and talks all this smack to Kane. Then Kane sells the building from up under Drew. Then Drew comes back and gives up the guns that Noma is selling so that they can get raided. And it's like they just going back and forth. But because of the stuff going on with the people surrounding them, specifically Monet, I feel like they're going to have to come back and band together to
save
overcome. Save the family again.
And that has to, and right there, Drew and Kane have to come to a consensus. They have to come back together, because the two of them apart is going to tear everything apart. I mean, so they have to come back together and see and become one. Again, there's a power struggle with Drew and Kane.
Yes.
And there's always been that. So I don't know how that gets resolved, because the more Drew does, the more he feels like, he can actually handle the job being Top Gun.
So, he can. It seems he can.
He certainly showed that.
But the thing is, this is like, I thought, Drew, you didn't want this.
Well,
you wanted out of life. You wanted to do art. But I guess, he kind of fell into it and is good at it. And I think the same thing for Effie. When you think about that, like, I don't think Effie ever wanted to be in the game. We see that she has dreams to be in robotics and all that stuff. But because she's good at it, because she's smart and all this stuff, she's stumbled into it too.
And it's a lot of quick money. Like, I'm thinking about Effie's situation specifically because, like you said, we got backstory. Her mom is attached to this man who molested her and clearly doesn't defend her against that, type of abuse. And so Effie doesn't really have anybody else to turn to. We see her keep trying to find loyalty in her love interests, but she's like, I got to do what I got to do. And robotics is like her hobby, and she really takes a passion in it. But that ain't gonna pay the bills right now. I gotta do this right now.
And we find out her birth name, Josephina. I mean,
we've been heard her
Josie. Yeah,
they've said it in previous episodes. Yeah, they said it when she went to jail. Yeah, her name Josephina.
Okay, I don't recall that.
Kane even said it. Kane even called her Josephina one time. He said her name and was playing with her and stuff. But she called her Josie.
Yeah, Josie.
Stuff, which is probably her mom's nickname. And did y'all see who her mom is? Her mom is Drea Mateo, and those who watch The Sopranos, which is a huge show for HBO and HBO. So I know a lot of people are probably excited to see her on screen. So she's a renowned actress.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'd like to have seen more of her and Effie, because what we did see, it was rather explosive.
Effie's words were cutting.
Oh my gracious. She was.
Her mom's words back to her were cutting too.
Yeah, they were.
But I mean, to say to your mother, if she's on fire, you wouldn't.
Well, I mean, because first of all, you think of your parents, your first protectors, and that you're supposed to protect your child, and then for her to marry a man who
molested
her,
assault, essayed her, that's a huge betrayal.
No, I agree. I mean, I agree.
And then on top of that, to come to her, now you come to her because you're like, you need money to keep you afloat. So that's an even further insult. Like, okay, he left you. You didn't leave him.
Right.
And now you coming to me for money after he left you.
Yeah.
So I felt Effie. I felt
I did too. I mean, I'm not saying that she did anything wrong necessarily. I think it's still hard to say that to your mom, but her mother had it coming in more ways than one. And it's just unfortunate that, she's in that situation to have to even say that to her mother. But, and I can now, as I said earlier, I now understand why she finds it so difficult to be in love, because her mom and that, stepfather or whomever he was at the time, those are hard things to get over.
Yeah.
Listen, a lot of people's relationships are modeled after their parents. And if you can't, if your parents can't be loyal to you and look out for you, then you're gonna have difficulty trusting anybody.
There are hurdles that it's very difficult to overcome. So it's unfortunate for her, but that's right. Effie, I love you.
Yeah. I wanted to switch up and go back to this feud though with Monet Tariq versus Carter and Noma, because ultimately, like, they're passing along information through Davis or whatever to warn Noma about what's going on. And then of course Noma goes and offers Nico a chance to flip on Carter. So we kind of mentioned this a little bit early on, but Nico, he a little shady because he actually took $50K from Noma and he wanted ongoing payments. He wanted $700K and ongoing payments from her. But when he went and
wanted 7 figures.
7 million.
He said he wanted 7 figures. That's $1 million.
That's 7 million. Now, answer me though, but answer me this, because I was a little confused. They got intel on someone in Carter's organization that would flip, and the question I had is who gave them that intel about Nico, because someone, remember, as they were walking up,
he said Monet.
Did he say Monet?
When they walked up, he said Monet said that this is the right hand guy. When they walked up, he said Monet, and Tariq said this is his right.
But I'm saying, why did they think he would flip? That was the part that got me, because what intel did they have on Nico to think he would flip?
I don't know if they told them that. I don't know. They said they were taking money off the cut. They have, and everything. Maybe they thought they would try, because he looked like it for a minute there.
He did look like he would.
He did look like
he was. And Effie already knows, based on the Russian hit, that people in Carter's team are taking money off the top without Carter knowing.
Yeah, but you chose a particular person, and you chose someone that was very close to Carter, and his right hand. So it would seem to me that you must have had some intel to think that he may flip, not just the fact that he's taking money from the Russians.
That's what Kane said, though. He said, they told me that he's motivated by money. That when he's walking out, they said that he would do that. So that's obviously what they expected. That's why they approached him.
Well, I think they were both. He
still did take the money. He went back and told.
But he went back and told.
He lied and said that he didn't take any money. He told Carter that.
Right.
Yeah, so I think Carter would have a big issue with Nico still, because like it's a show of loyalty that he told Carter in the first place. And so Carter's probably like, oh yeah, this is still my dude. Like, he's still on my side. But the fact that he took the money behind his back, if loyalty. Carter ever finds out,
loyalty right out the door. Yeah.
His you say he earned his death?
Yeah, he earned that. I mean, because any sign of loyalty is out the door if you're going to take the money and then not tell me that you took money. And again, you know what? I got to go back to what you said earlier, Tiffany, in an earlier show. It then does seem that Nico might have a game of his own that he's playing.
Yes.
So now, so now you have to think a little harder about Nico, because what game is he playing?
Nico already don't trust Carter. Like the cracks was the come on kill.
Yeah.
He already was looking at Carter sideways from that. So the cracks start showing from that.
Right.
Now Felicia turns up dead, and now Carter trying to sell it as this car accident. Right. And that's he said it. He was like car accident. So it's like two things. So he's looking at Carter sideways. Yeah, so he probably like he going down. Right. I'm about to secure myself. He's like, I'm about to look out for myself. He going down. I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm exit stage left, but while I'm exiting, I'm taking some cash with me.
Exactly. He said, I'm going to stack my paper and make sure I'm straight. So when he goes down, I'm going to be straight.
And, ultimately, Carter met with Noma and was like, look, we got a common enemy. Let's just go ahead and work together to get Monet and Tariq out the way. So I'm like, plan backfired.
Yeah, that's going to be real interesting, too, because now that they've decided to somewhat work together to, as they say, get rid of the common enemy, there are more things now that's going to come up, like Nico taking the $500 or what was it, $5,000 or $500. 500, no, 500,000.
50K.
With a 50K, 50K. Taking the 50K and then asking for 7 figures, which is a lot of money to give anybody. That's going to come out. So I would think can I go as far as to say I think Nico, he's going to be one to go.
He's absolutely going to go.
He's going to be one to go.
I was really shocked by Noma's agreeing to that arrangement, because you're working with a dirty cop and you are a criminal yourself. What's stopping him from setting you up and getting everybody off the table, taking all the players out the game?
Maybe she has plans for Carter too. Like, I don't trust
her.
She
either.
Does. I don't trust her either.
Yeah. How can anybody trust anybody in this? I mean, everybody's dirty, but I can understand
Carter has a level above them because he is law enforcement and he can fabricate stuff that can really take them down.
Right. But they do have that common enemy that's after them both. So in a way, I don't think they have a choice but to do so. The question, though, is, as you noted, what happens afterwards? Because if Carter wants to, he can take you down right with him.
I think Noma has a lot less going for her in this situation. She's got the fact that he's law enforcement. She's got Monet and Tariq gunning after her. She's got the fact that Kane is kind of he's got a plan of his own, and then she's got Davis against her. She don't even know it. And we didn't even talk about Anya.
Well, before that, though, if you look at it, she does have somewhat of an upper hand. She has an organization. And remember, Noma and Kane bought that facility.
Yeah, the fighting facility.
Right, the fighting facility, which they were using for their drug organization. So he's kind of, 6 in, 12 out. So 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. He really doesn't have a choice.
It just seems like Noma got the cards stacked against her in this situation. And I think we all know that Anya is her Achilles heel. Like, with Anya questioning her about her sources of income and the legitimacy of her dealings and whatnot.
Lied.
Yeah, she lied. That's a huge betrayal. Because I feel like Tariq knows the real deal. Right. The whole family knows the real deal. Like, the whole Tejada family knows the real deal. Somebody's going to tell her.
I thought Kane would. I thought Kane would when she started, she started pressing Kane. Yeah, he is. No. But I thought, I said, well, if he gets upset, and
he ain't gonna. It's gonna be Tariq or one of them that's gonna tell her, because I'm like, dang, it's bad enough she killed her father. Then she
lying on the dead,
a drug lord and everything else. Yeah. Like, and she was just like, I said, wow, the way she lied to her daughter is terrible. I said her downfall is gonna be spectacular.
Right. And so I was like, dang, Noma, it's not looking good for her.
We got a lot to unfold between now and the season finale, but it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of cards on the table here. So it's going to be interesting to see what pops up. But We haven't discussed Diana.
I was about to go there. I'm glad you said that. Because I'm very interested in seeing y'all opinions on her and, you know, some of her guilt that she's feeling after Felicia, obviously, but also her wanting to be pregnant again. It's like what Brushandria called a replacement baby.
And when people get pregnant after a miscarriage, they call them rainbow babies and stuff too. So yeah, I think that's what she's going through is normal.
It is normal. However, Diana is fresh out the hospital and she's trying to be intimate again and get pregnant. And Tariq is like, hold up, pause, time out. I mean, we just got through a situation. We're deep in the game.
Accident the first time.
Right. Yeah, our lives are in danger here. You talking about getting pregnant again?
So he wants to wrap up. So that was the funny part. He pulls out, you know, his little wrap up. He says, "Okay."
And you said he didn't use them, and I told you that.
Well, I said, no. He didn't use them before, but now.
We don't know that though. We don't know that he didn't use
them.
We
know
before.
That he didn't with Diana because they had a child. But
I know that
don't mean he didn't use a condom
with Anya, huh?
That's it. Just because she got pregnant, don't mean he didn't.
And that's true too.
That is true.
That's true.
But I assume we can assume that he didn't because Diana got upset and said, you know, you don't need that. And here's the thing with Diana and that move. Okay, I understand that you lost a child and you're eagerly wanting to get back and perhaps have that ideal family that you've always dreamed of. But that's something you discuss with him. You know, that was a spur of the moment type thing. And you just expected him to roll with it after all of what had happened. You know, it's not like it was a planned baby. You know, that was a mistake.
She had her feelings though.
That's what she had her feelings, and she's not thinking about the reality. They in danger. Like, you know,
that's the whole point.
This was not a time to be bringing the baby into the world anyway with all the stuff they got going on.
Right. So you had a reprieve from that, and now you want to go back and have another child.
Yeah,
that was not.
And not only that, but I like what Brushandria told her because she was like, you know, I got cousins that, you know, had kids and it really stopped their life. They couldn't come and go as they please or whatever. And it limited how they had to move. And she was like, if I were you, I would just focus on school and forget, you know, Tariq and that whole situation. And I'm like, you know, this really could be a chance for Diana to have a clean start because she wants out of the game. She wants to rebuild and separate from the family business and whatnot. Here's your opportunity. You know, if you had a kid, think of how different your life would be and how so much of what you wanted would be paused. So I think she's like living in La La Land, like kind of fairy tale dreaming about what that would have been like.
Exactly. And I, at that point, she seemingly doesn't care about the difficulties that she would have having a child and walking away from her family. Although in our discussion with her, she said that family was everything. If you recall, Tiff, she said family was everything. And yet here we are, you trying to do, you know, have another child and try to walk away and think that, you know, everything is going to be okay for you, but it's not.
I'm not even in the drug business and I got an infant and I'm stressed. So I can't imagine Diana.
Yes.
Listen, I was young too, young married, and it was hard. It was hard as a young person to have a child.
That's why I was like, she is really delusional about what that situation would have been like.
Absolutely. I mean, I can't speak on, you know, behalf as you all, but being a father, I saw how difficult some of the, you know, the days were with my kids and my wife. So there's no way I can see Diana just walking away off into the sunset thinking that, you know, this is all going to be blissful. It's not.
Yeah,
she's with all the stuff they got going on. I mean, this is like middle of wars and stuff. You know, dealing with mobsters and everything. Like y'all, like
she's bugging. Somebody else was bugging. Brayden.
Oh my gracious. Oh.
Brayden is crashing out. I mean, he has goes into the room. He finds Elle overdosing, and she goes to the hospital and finds out that she actually got some bad drugs that were laced with fentanyl. And he decides that he's going on his own mission to avenge her. and drags Tariq into it. I mean, Tariq is sitting up here thinking we're gonna go rough this guy up and scare him, and Brayden takes a complete 180 and goes left and kills the man.
I mean, he just turns a blind a blind eye to justice. And I mean, first of all, he had him snort enough to make that probably would have killed him anyway.
I'm surprised that ain't kill him.
I thought that was gonna kill him anyway.
Yeah, you didn't have to put a bullet in him. So it's I don't know. What happens with Brayden and Tariq? Because Tariq has to look at that more seriously now. He has to really take a look at Brayden and find out is this going to work? Because Brayden is now he's just gone completely left. He's using. He's now he's
a liability.
He's a huge liability.
Because I was like, it didn't look like they had gloves on when they were at that guy, and when they were moving, and I was just like, oh Lord, are there fingerprints there? And nowadays cameras are everywhere.
Yeah.
And they could probably be seen leaving.
The neighbor was yelling. The neighbor heard them.
Well, they went out through the fire escape.
Carter,
they went out through the fire escape, which I thought made sense. But again, like you said, there are cameras everywhere, so it'll be interesting.
I think Brayden's going to the Bing. Brayden's going to
either that or he's gonna.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think
I was like, Tariq might. I don't know if he'll be able to do it, but Tariq might have to make a choice.
Yeah, because Brayden really is a liability. I mean, it's the classic kind of comparison to Tommy and Ghost, and how Ghost always viewed Tommy as the liability, and Tommy was always, tagging along with Ghost on his missions. But when Tommy had something he wanted to do, Ghost was against it. And so kind of Brayden mentioned that same thing. He was like, oh, so I can go with you to avenge whoever you want, but you can't do it for me. Well, and it's like Tariq was like, you are not thinking things through. He mentioned that about the course correct situation earlier in the episode. He's like, you don't think things through. And then here it is again. He's proven that he didn't think things through again with this killing. So it's like all of that, and Elle was pissed at him for what he did. You did all of that to avenge this girl, and she's like, you did what?
She was like, she doesn't want to have that guilt on her.
Did he actually have to go and tell Elle what he had done?
That was dumb too. That's what I was like, why are you telling her? And I was just like, he's pillow talking like Tommy. Even though I don't think Tommy would have gone as far as to say that he did that.
Brayden is way messier.
Huh?
Yeah, way messier.
That was extremely messy. Not only messy, now we can see Elle is rather straight. She's not into that gang and banging and all that other stuff. So now you're going to tell her, which opens you up even more, because if the police find out, she's a witness to what you said.
She might snitch.
She would snitch.
He might have to take her out. He might have to take her out. Tariq might take her out.
Tariq might.
Yeah, it might be a situation when I keep thinking about the parallels with Ghost and Tommy and OG and Holly. When Ghost saw that Holly was a liability, he was like, she got to go. Yeah. She got to go.
Yeah, so it's not looking good in that situation. I think we say all of that to say Brayden gets the hands this week.
Yeah, he definitely gets the hands.
Brayden got to get the hands. Are there any other nominees that y'all want to add to the who can get the hands list?
Wow. Davis gets the hand for trying to play, both cycles. Look, like I said earlier, you can only serve one master.
Right.
Trying to have two. You're between a rock and a hard place. What are you doing here? Everybody's going to know that you're the first line that could be, giving out all this information. So
I'm telling you, I think that's going to get him killed.
Yeah.
I think he's probably next.
He deserves the hands. Yeah.
All right, y'all got anybody else? I kind of was thinking Nico, but Nico.
I was thinking Nico too, but I'm thinking Noma for lying to Anya like that.
That's a good one.
I'm like, she is dead wrong for doing her dead husband like that.
I don't think Noma had no choice. I'm not defending Noma, but she had really no choice, because here she still wants to keep that level of of sanctity between she and her daughter. You know, that's the one area that Noma, but it's the one thing that Noma has that's what she thinks is pure.
That's pure.
And unfortunately, though, it's rotting from the outside.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's, now with, approaching Kane about the situation. And I think she learned more talking to Kane than she had before. So, when she talked about how large his crib was and how are you paying
he didn't tell
for
her
it?
anything, no.
He didn't tell her, but she's not a dummy. So
well,
and she already knows right. She already knows what he does for a living. But that's just more fuel to the fire in the sense of, Mom, why are you with this gangster? So what you told me about Dad is one thing, but there must be more to it with you.
Yeah.
You're in bed with this gangster. There's more to this story, and she's gonna want to find that out.
She's not dumb. She's not naive, and she's gonna find out about her.
She's gonna find it out.
Yep, and it's gonna be 10 times worse because now you done lied to my face.
Right.
So it would have been better if you just would have told me up front. So I think Noma's downfall is gonna be gigantic. It's gonna be crazy for all involved.
Correct.
Look, I was talking to, I don't know if you guys have seen the picture of 50 with Idris Elba on his IG, and I was like, oh my goodness, is he gonna be part of the Power universe? Are they working on something? Like, I don't have no facts, no no clues, anything, so I don't want to get anybody's hopes up out there. But when I saw him, and I don't know if it's a reach, I was like, could he play Noma's brother?
The Nigerian brother?
Could he be the Nigerian brother? Because I was like, the British accent, and it's not like he's not new to.
That would be awesome.
Power has coached a lot of Wire actors. And for him to have Stringer Bell, his Power universe would be epic.
And that's the thing. I don't think Power universe is ever going to go away. And he would be the only person I could think of that could replace Amari in the sense of how we feel. I would love to see him in one of these Power Universe episodes, or even having a show of his own.
Listen, if there is a Power London universe, he lives over there.
So, I mean, hey, I'm not mad at that.
He can play a Kingpin because he has.
Well, let me say this:
he can be scary. He would bring all of that to the Power universe. So when I saw the picture, I got excited. I was like, is this just a photo op, or is this what I think it is?
Well, let's say this. If Noma makes it out of this, we can look for a Power London universe, a Power London series.
They have been throwing too much at us for these last 2 episodes to be it. I'm just like, it can't be.
No.
Yeah, so I'm not buying it.
Me either. I'm not buying
it. Okay, so that being said, do y'all have any nominees for the Game Ball? I think I'm withholding my Game Ball this week.
You are?
Yeah. Because I'm like, I think everybody was kind of mixed up in some mess. It was all mess, and a lot of the stuff that they did backfired. So I'm withholding my Game Ball.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about the pissing match between Drew and Kane, trying to one up each other and stuff. And they checkmated each other, but I don't know if either of them deserved the Game Ball. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll give it to Effie. Because Effie stood on business with her mom.
Yeah.
She stood on business with her mom, and she still held it together and held her resolve during a tough situation with somebody she cares about, that Noma thing. Because I think anybody else would have really been, I know she was pissed, but she still maintained
She put on her poker face.
Yeah, she put on her poker face in that Noma situation with Kane. And then when he came to her door, she shut the door in his face. Like, I think I give her my Game Ball.
I will, based on the fact that she, as you said, she stood on business, and that's important. So I can see
Okay.
that.
All right, I'm not
thought
mad
about
at it.
Tyreek. I mean, he didn't.
Tariq.
I thought about Tariq. I mean, in this episode, the only thing he did dumb was to follow Brayden, but he couldn't have
Brayden
known.
tricked him though.
Yeah, he tricked him. He couldn't have known.
He did. He did.
So
He switched up. I think when he got in the moment, he switched up.
So I like the plan with Monique. Monique had with
Monet.
I mean, Monet had with. I don't know why I keep calling that woman, but anyway, I like the plan she had that the two of them had, going to Noma and try to pit Noma and and Carter against one another. That was a good plan, except this just it's just rotten from the core because there's just too many people involved.
And too many unknown variables.
Right.
When you have these unknown variables, like they just were so sure they had Nico in a bag, and Nico went back and snitched and stuff. So like,
right. I mean, mathematically thinking, all variables and no constant. So there's nothing to put together. There's nothing to formulate, I should say. So it is what it is.
It looks like in the trailer for the next episode though that somebody was telling Tariq that he needed to go after Carter. So I don't know if
and it looked like he might have got him too. Because
Carter it also looked like everybody was in a gunfight. So
it did. It looked like even Davis had a gun.
Even Davis had a gun.
Like, what in the world? So
it's going down next week. I'm looking forward to it too. That's going to be the episode prior to the finale. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of build up in that episode. A lot of stuff going to go down. So I think we got our hands full these last two episodes. I'm looking so forward to seeing how they leave us and what they got in store, because I truly, in my heart, don't believe this is the end.
I know. Like, is Tariq gonna make it out? Like,
they gonna drop a bomb on us. Yeah, it's gonna be a bomb. So these last two gonna be explosive. I see some deaths.
Yes, I do
major deaths.
Well, I
think Rashad Tate got to come back into it, because I think Rashad might come in and be the one to take Carter out. Because I think that's one of the things, one of the hands they have to play. Tariq has that relationship with Tate and stuff, and it could be him. Like, maybe the scenes that they're baiting us, making us think it's Tariq, and Rashad might be in the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, that could be it. And then we don't know, they dropped that nugget with Tasha. I'm still hoping that Tasha makes it out. But I'm like, what if Monet still finds out that Tasha was the one? Or what if Carter drops that? Like, I mean, he doesn't know for sure, but what if he says, hey, we got this footage of the car leaving the scene, and who does that look like?
Yeah.
And stuff. And he might use that. That's him being a dirty cop. He has so many tools in his arsenal that he can use at his disposal to like one up Tariq and them. Like, because right now Monet and Tariq are working together, but if Carter drops this bomb, we're like, oh
yeah, they can tear them apart.
Tariq's mom was the one. Did Tariq tell you that it was Tasha that shot you? Mm-hmm. That could be.
And see, therein lies what you just said. There's so many open doors. I really can't see how you can close them all in the next two episodes, which leads me to believe that there's got to be something coming afterwards, because there's just too many open doors that can't be closed between now and the finale. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to something else.
Me too. Me too. So this was a good episode, though. It's a great setup for what's to come. So definitely, like I said, looking forward to these last two episodes. To all the viewers out there, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you drop down in the comment section and give us your thoughts on this episode, as well as the predictions you have for the remainder of the season. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel and you have that notification bell on so that you can get alerted when our next big interview drops. And if you haven't already, check out our interview playlist, because there's a lot of great content from this season and seasons past, but specifically this season, because we have been interviewing with a lot of the cast from PowerBook 2. So please make sure you check that out. You can also follow us on social media. We are on all major platforms at The Spot Real Talk. So make sure you go there and tell your friends and family and whoever, support us. Hop onto the channel and watch as well. We got a lot of great stuff for you guys up our sleeves. Ron, Tiff, y'all got anything else you want to say?
Nope.
Okay, well, on that note, we are going to call it a night. Please make sure you guys are back here next week so we can recap episode 9. Good night.
We just gotta go hard. I go the hardest. I bring the pain. Not what you used to. It's all part of the game. Yeah, I just gotta go hard. I just gotta go hard. Go hard. Go hard. Yeah. Oh yeah, the beast back. Adrenaline pumping through my veins.